Hi everyone! Before we get started with Heaven Official's Blessing July spread, I wanted to show you how the Spy Family spread had turned out when it's all filled in. I did block out some confidential information, but I think it's very satisfying to see what I've done with it. I love the journal section at the very end of it. I think that was the most fun for me. But without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and do the how-to video for the Heaven Official's Blessing video. Enjoy! So far, nothing new here. I'm just gluing down some images I got off Google, and then I'm using some scrap paper from past projects that I had left over. As usual, just gluing down these images and those pieces of paper. I did have a vision before I started this, so now it's just trying to put it all together in the moment. I'm sorry that this video is really late. It's just a lot of things have been happening in my life that are out of my control, so I'm just happy I was able to do this spread at all. I just didn't think I was going to have time, but it was really relaxing and it was good to take a break from life just to get this done. But yeah, about this anime, Heaven Official's Blessing, it's so good. I watched it season 1 on Netflix, and I think I watched it 3 times already because I think it's so good, and it's hard to explain, but I'm definitely going to try my best to give you a summary of it because I think it's really worth watching if you really need to, see a relationship with unconditional love and, great support and friendship. It's like acceptance, and I just think there is a lot of purity into it. But yeah, there's also a novel of this anime. This anime came out from the novel, and the novel is fantastic. I probably shouldn't say more about it because I could spoil everything. I'm like, oh my goodness, when he realized this, when he knew that this, and I really could just spoil this whole thing, and I should not do that. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna leave it alone after I say this one thing. It's about this prince who pleased the gods, and that's already interesting in itself, but he goes through so many obstacles, and it just seems like it's that life is just not on his side. Like terrible things happen to him, and he's always trying to do the right thing, but it just doesn't work out. And I think that's really relatable sometimes. You know how we feel. It's like the world feels like it's against us, and there's not a lot of people to support us, in those times, and you get so bitter about it. But I think it's good to see there's still goodness. There's still goodness in you. You still want to do the right thing, just for the right thing, not because there is a payoff at the end, and that there are people that support you and love you unconditionally. It's kind of like that. I know that's a terrible summary, but that's what I got out of it. And I read the novel, and I watched the anime, or at least the first season of it. I can't wait for the second season, and I know it's going to be great. So I guess that's my really crappy summary of it, but it's amazing. It's very amazing, and I love it. But getting to the point, the washi tape that I'm using was from the washi tape shop, and it's I forget what they call it, but it's like the Phoenix edition one. And then I did kind of cheap out on some Galaxy washi tape from Amazon, and the only thing I gotta say about that is that even though it's very pretty, you don't get very much at all. So that was really disappointing. But otherwise, it's nice for the aesthetic. And right here I'm doing the calendar a little smaller it's just because with my Spy Family spread, I really didn't utilize the big boxes of the calendar, and this is like hit or miss all the time. Like from month to month, either I don't have a lot of space or I have, you know, too much space and then I waste, you know. Ugh. Anyway, we go back and forth between lots of big, spacious boxes to a one-page calendar. So we'll see how July turns out, but so far, my July plans are... well, it looks kind of busy right now, but we'll see. You know, plans change and people cancel, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's just very basic with these boxes. I used my grid spacer to make sure I got the right sizing for each of them. And then at the very bottom, I'm just going to do an event box. So how this will look is I'll put like a little colored dot on the day in my calendar, and then I'll just correlate that color to that event box. And that should save some space so I can fit everything. And now I was doing this like half and half page with these little tabs at the bottom. It's very, I wish I could explain this better, but as you can see, you get the idea. I'm gonna cut the top half off this first page, and then this design or image will be on that second page. And then I made small cuts to make these little tabs, and really I just made I don't know why I can't talk, but I just made these little tabs so that it looks like a little book within a book. I think it's cute. I did this in my last bullet journal with Horimiya. It was my first time ever using tabs, and I did learn what not to do, so I didn't cut the second tab all the way through, you know, vertically. I just cut that small piece off at the bottom because I still want to use the back for something. So that's what I'm doing right here. Really, I'm starting to think I shouldn't have cut that little piece off at the bottom either, but I think as I keep using tabs, I will keep learning and doing better. As usual, I do not clip out my mistakes from my videos. I just want you to learn from mine too, so if you ever try to recreate the same stuff, you can kind of see what's working and what's not. And as you can see, I didn't really account for this tab getting in the way of my corner clipper. So one of the rounded corners on that is not quite as crisp as the other one, just because I couldn't get a good position on it because my tab got in the way. And then this part is just taking my images and putting them down on the spot. Yeah, it was really not efficient to just like put it on that piece of paper that I just peeled them off of. I don't know why. I think I just forgot that I cut that piece off, and that is just like junk paper. But anyway, it didn't make a big difference. Like, look, they're all positioned just nicely now, and I'm just taking off some of that washi tape that I used to hold them down in place just to get the positions right. I'm just going to save those little pieces for later if I need them. And now we can go ahead and label these tabs. So my plan for this was that first tab was going to be my habit tracker, and then that second one is actually my savings tracker. I'm trying really hard to budget and save money now, so this is something I've been doing for months and months now, this little budgeting tracker. So we're just going to continue this, and then at the back of this we're going to go ahead and do a finance tracker just in general to make sure we know what we're spending, and see if we can maybe if we're spending too much in one area, like eating out too much or shopping, then we could try and cut back on that if I could see where I'm putting my money. I'm not sure if this part might look confusing to you guys, so I'll try to explain this with the finance tracker. So the very top is going to track what I'm spending. So from going from left to right, it says date, description, payment method, and amount. So that'll just tell me where my money's going whenever I make those purchases. And at the very bottom, we have date, details, and then the C and W mean, like, you know, what I'm putting in and what I'm taking out, and then an amount in total. So usually that's going to look like what my bank account is going to be looking like whenever there is a subtraction or an addition to it, and then the top is just keeping track of what I'm spending. So just wanted to explain that if that looked kind of confusing what I was doing. I use the same layout for my bank, like tracking my bank account. That bottom section, that's the same tracker I use for my savings. Yeah, just wanted to clarify that. And I'm having so much fun with those Phoenix washi tapes right now that I just can't even pick which one looks good with, you know, with what color palette. It's really fun, but it's also kind of very frustrating because it's so hard to make a decision. I'm actually making a small, like, note to self kind of page for myself. Sometimes I like to put thoughts like, oh, what are my future plans, or what are some vacation spots I really want to try, you know, things that kind of make me happy. So I'm just making a little separate page for that. If I want to do some self-love comments for myself, or self-care, things I can do to be in a better mental spot, then I'm going to go ahead and put it on this page. I hope you're enjoying the music right now. It is One Flower, One Sword by Bingyin. Sorry if I messed up the composer's name really badly. I just wanted to go ahead and give credit right now. It'll definitely be in the description anyway, but there's something about this song that makes me think like, oh, it's just so happy and so pure, but at the same time it makes me want to cry. I don't know, there's just like this really nice effect to it. I don't know, can you describe it better? Because I just have this feeling, it's like, wow, there's so much joy, but at the same time I could cry. It's so good. But yeah, I was like, can we just talk about it? Because it's so good. We're getting into the weekly spread now, and I really struggled with the first week because I was trying to follow this other template I saw on Google for a weekly spread, and it looked so good in the pictures, but then when I tried to execute, it wasn't as good. It didn't fit the theme very well. So what I did was I used some of that Phoenix washi tape, used some scrap black cardstock paper, and I had ripped this up previously for, a different project, and I ended up not using these pieces, but now I kind of use them to make them look like mountain silhouettes or cloud shapes, things like that, and I thought it really did a lot better than what I was expecting. So I was pretty happy with how it turned out. The only thing I'm really not happy with is, if you can see that bottom blank box right there, what was supposed to happen there was we put the month in there, like write it out or stamp it in, and you'll see later, but I apologize. I love to jump around in my bullet journal. Like, I do a little piece here, a little piece there, especially when I'm not quite sure what I want to do, or I'm kind of nervous about doing something, like handwriting stuff, drawing things, things that require artistic ability. I guess it makes me nervous. I just haven't practiced drawing in a really long time, that I think I've lost my touch, so I don't really have the confidence to do that anymore, or just have good penmanship or straight lines. I just have really bad confidence issues. So yeah, I jump around a lot because I'm like, yeah, that's gonna need extra time and some extra effort in there, so let me go and work on something that takes a little less, a little less stressful. So I'm really happy with the next couple of weeks here. You can see that we used the scrap pieces when I did a cutout from that one picture from earlier. I used those pieces here, and we're going to keep going with the lantern theme. I did a really crappy drawing of some paper lanterns, and I have them transcend across the page. I really like this, even though my drawing ability wasn't too good, but the effect is still the same, I feel like. So we're gonna keep going with it. We're okay with it, and we're gonna put extra detail in that when we're feeling a little bit better about it. And I'm sorry for the shaky camera. I just I'm using like a gooseneck camera holder, so it's shaking because I put a lot of pressure when I do my outlines and drawings and stuff. So with all this pressure I'm putting down on the table, it's shaking a lot. And now I'm working on the last week for the month of July, and I was so excited to do this last spread right here. Using the 4 ghosts from the story. It was like, I don't want to give anything away, but these are 4 of them, and if you ever watch the anime or read the novel, it's amazing what these ghosts are capable of, how they became who they are, how they got to where they are right now. So if you want to just look into that a little more, it's really worth it. Like, I read the novel twice, watched the first season almost 3 times, if maybe 3 times or more than that. I don't know. I always come back and revisit it, so yes, definitely worth it. I know you must be thinking that these lanterns look pretty crappy, but don't worry, from far away it still looks good. And then I'm gonna use my gold gel pen to give it a little extra emphasis, so that way at least it looks a little bit better. You'll see in just a second. I'm just gonna clean it up really quick, and then just do some outlines around the fire, and then make the distant lanterns glow just a little bit with the metallic ink in my gel pen, and that'll be pretty good. That'll be just enough. And then, like I said, I just go back and redo a few things just when I feel comfortable. This is my relaxing time, so I'm not really concerned with getting things done in sequence. I know that is very inconvenient when you're doing a video, but I'm just kind of showing you my process because this is how I do things. So I've tried a Uniball gel pen before, and when it works, it's amazing, and when it doesn't work, it's very sad. So right now, this is my first time using the Jelly Roll Sakura pens. Yeah, I think that's what they call them. So far so good. And that's my really bad handwritten July. That's what really bothers me right now. We're really close to being finished now, and just hang tight. I'm just gonna put in the days of the week really quick, and because I was rushing, because someone was talking to me in the background, I kind of messed up my boxes a little bit, because the biggest box I wanted to put my notes in, but because I was rushing, I kind of just blanked out. But that flip through for the final look is coming up. I hope you really enjoy it.